Now, a very special individual. Thank you very much, Carol. Very moving. I didn't know you'd remember when you first met me. But, it must have been in some dank boozer where we were having a spoken word session. Brilliant. Anyway, I want to introduce now a very special person she will be reciting later. And she got first dibs on all the tracks, which one she could pick from. Right, so you'll hear more from her now in a minute. My mother, Philomena Harrington, she's a trade unionist. She was a trade unionist in all her career, but many roles, but always in a supportive role to workers. So that's been key in shaping a lot of what I have wrote, reflected and meditated on as a young woman, as a child, coming up as an adult to date. Same with my father, who's here, and my family. My father, I would have watched him sitting down and writing lyrics and, editing and, and heard him singing and, been told, step over those leads, don't sit on the amp, the music room, the smell of the equipment, And it must have, I just absorbed it. But anyway, my mother is going to share a little bit on my early years and creative growth, the development of the EP, what she saw of that, musical choices and themes of identity, community and the arts. And she might throw in a little something about the National Women's Council of Ireland, because she was on the board, head of the board for many years. So put your hands together for my mother, who's brilliant.
Hey everybody, can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. Mine is going to be rather informal because I think there's enough people cataloguing her journey of work. So I'm going to give you a little flavour of Elayne the child and Elayne, my daughter. So just to say, there's an awful lot to say about her because she might be only, well, Wikipedia can't even get it right, so why should I get it right? They don't know her date of birth. Was it 87? Was it 88? So if they can make a mistake, and plus she only has one sister, and she's got two. So Wikipedia can make mistakes. So if I do, I'm up with the best. I just wanted to say that, let's start from the very beginning. Elayne came one Wednesday night. At 9:45 at night, I began to get pains. I said, it couldn't be. She's not due yet. Oh, yes, she was. He was heading out for a pint. I said, I don't think you should go anywhere. I think it's going to happen. He said, you're only saying that because I want to go out for a pint. No, I said, I think it's going to happen. In an ambulance, 2 children, I thought to myself, these children are not delivering this baby. And they looked about 20 to me, the ambulance guys, And in the hospital, she was born in under 10 minutes. That's how quick she was born, right? And she was born as a punk rocker. I swear, if I had a picture, I'd love to put it up. Her hair was up like this. Her hair was up like this. Because she was born so quickly and pushed herself out, she had 2 big red eyes with all the pushing, right? So when people used to look in, I'd say, do you want to see me punk rock baby? And they'd kind of look at me, oh yeah, she's lovely. Anyway, that was Elayne coming into the world. And she has been just as ferocious in carrying on her message. A lot of parents will stand up and say they're proud of their children. I think that's a bit patronising and egotistical of me to say so. I admire her. I think she has achieved, if only you knew, like Elayne had a lot of difficulties in her life. She's very, very sensitive and very takes in everybody. She's a natural pedagogue. She's a natural teacher. She wants to bring people with her. She wants to collaborate. And the collaboration with Jenny, both Jennys, Jenny, my niece, and Jenny from the block, where are you? And Jenny from the block, who I only met today. Fabulous, fabulous people. You know, and I mean, I hope, just as an aside to my trade union brain, I hope that what has happened with 7 million being lost on computerised systems for the arts, I hope that does not affect artists, because it has nothing to do with what artists are trying to achieve and collaborate on. It is the bureaucracy above your heads that has caused this. And I'll fight alongside you if I need to. I still have that in me, don't worry. Anyway, I would just like to go back to the first poem that Elayne wrote. And it was called Little Leaf. And it was about a little piece of paper on the ground, unlit, unloved, unwritten on, and uncared for. That's how sad she was. I think, say, 8 years of age. And she won, like, a prize at the school and so on for that, you know. And, like, I have little notes down here. But then, for example, she absorbed music from her father, because he didn't teach her it, he didn't show her it, it was just there around in the house. But I have to say, the moves she got from me, okay? But yeah, I remember we used to, myself and Elayne would not have always seen eye to eye, as you can imagine, particularly around those teenage years, you know, and it's kind of. But do you remember, Elayne, when we used to travel down to school with Elayne in the car, Elayne would want to play her music all the time. And I said, what about me? I have music. I don't particularly like anything that would be as laudable as other people. I like what I like. I like what I can move to. I like what I hear sometimes. But Elayne, anyway, I said, you can't keep playing the same old thing. I'm so sick of listening to Boyzone all the way down. I mean Slipknot, and I mean Up at 11. So I taught her the art of compromise, so she could have her music either on the way to school or on the way home, and then she had to listen to whatever I wanted to. So she learned to deal with other people and learned that other people have needs, you know. But let me just realise, she's a collaborator. I mean, if Jenny has said that already, but I've always seen Elayne like that. She's always included even her friends, whatever it would be, in whatever journey she's taken. And unfortunately, Elayne has lost a lot of her contemporaries to death. Yeah. And it affected her greatly in your growing up years, the fact that contemporaries of hers were losing their life and you were only starting yours. You know, so that was also something that played into Elayne's music. But one of the most enviable things I find about Elayne is her faith. I find that enviable because I don't have that same faith. I'm an agnostic, or just don't know what to believe, but I just don't have that core that she had. And if I can just show you something for a minute. You see that cross there? See this cross? This chain? I don't know if she's wearing it tonight. Of course I am, yeah. She is, of course. Sorry. That cross and chain she's wearing tonight, her grandfather that owned that cross and chain and Elayne were like that. And I think what he didn't pass on to me, because he didn't pass me his wisdom, he passed me giving out and do better in school and whatever. But he was able to bypass a generation and be so close to Elayne. It was unbelievable. Like, he's 87 when he died, and him and Elayne were like that. And that's his cross that she has up there. That's why an awful lot of the symbolism that you'll see that Jenny has drawn into the wording, you know. And I'm going to leave you because I know I'm well aware I'm going on too fast. But, you know, there's just so many things, as I said, I could say about her. Like, you know, she uses her rap for connection with people. for letting people know what's available that they can do. She also used it in terms of workshops in schools. She went in and she actually did rap with the kids around being bullied, being alienated, being isolated. You know, I mean, she devised a program to go into schools and get kids to be able to talk about these things. Very important, very, very important. So there's loads and loads and loads more I could say, but there will be a launch of 3 more albums that I'm aware of anyway. And if I could just say finally, there is absolutely nothing pastel about Elayne. Elayne is red, yellow, you know, she's strong and she's up there. So I love her to pieces. But as I said, she wrote a poem for me, and I'll just end with this. It was called She Built Me a Sky, because she imagined that I had built the sky for her, to have her freedom to soar in a way I hadn't maybe done. Because she came from a background in Finglas where it was, if I go to college, if I get into here. It wasn't like I went and I did training in those schools when I was a trade unionist, just for the kids who were working part-time so they didn't know their rights and know whatever. And like it was always when I went into the schools who had more facilities and maybe had more money available to them, it was when I go to college. But in Finglas and Cabra and areas like that, even the teachers would say, if the kids get to college. So she made it to college. She's made it doing beautiful, beautiful songs. I'm going to be reciting one actually later on. And I probably will only get quarter way through it because when I read it, I said, Elayne says all that in one song? I couldn't believe it because it takes me like the minute and a half she gave me. She said, Ma'am, you have a minute and a half. I thought I'm only going to get 2 sentences said in that time compared to the way she raps it out. But anyway, I love you, Elayne, and love to all of you. And I'm really glad to see you all here tonight. And thanks very much. I just have to tell one more story because I told her I was going to embarrass her with this. She's launching her album tonight. When she was about 10 or 11, her aunt, Lizzie, brought them up a record player, her and her other sister, Claire, right? And they put the record on the record player and played one side and didn't know how to play the others. How do we play the other side, Mammy? I said, you have to physically take it off and lift it over because they were so used to CDs, like, you know what I mean? So she's launching one tonight so she knows how to turn it over. Fair play to you. And watch those leaves.